Yes, I know. I used Batman and Robin in my still image. Yeah, you got these little guys up here. Welcome. They were on my shelf. I moved them back over. I was missing them. I like looking up and seeing Batman and Robin 1966, and they were feeling demoted because they were back on the shelf. And I brought in the new Batmobile and the new Batman sign and the new book and talked about it on my live stream. So just so these guys won't get mad at me, they've been watching over my live stream since we started. So I just wanted to pay them some respect. And so superheroes, and all of us need some type of superhuman hero in our lives. With me, I've had an older brother, I've had family and friends, and but there's only a few people that you can give superhero kudos to. So thank you for joining me for the post show. We are going to have an interesting conversation tonight. I wanted to preface this by just giving you guys a couple updates. And again, thank you for joining me. I see, I should do due diligence here and put some chat on the screen here and say hi. Cause again, let's see, that should pop up. Yep. Thank you again, Freddie, for being here. And it's nice that your icon is visible. TVJ is here in the house. Get that up there. It won't go up. What is the deal? Did I freeze here? What's the deal? Let's clear. And let's try this again. TVJ, thank you for joining me. I have Helios. Thank you for joining me again. You were in the other show, all three of you, and thank you so much for joining from this show. And I'm sure some other people will join me. If you are here tonight and you can't chat, it's because I have subscriber only on for a number of reasons. The biggest reason is just making sure that we don't have any stuff distracting us in the chat, and that anybody that wants to be here really in chatting wants to be here. So you need to subscribe, and in 5 minutes you'll be able to chat. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Keith, and I'm going to hit record here, even though I don't know that I'll need a copy of this. But thank you so much for joining me in the live stream. I wanted to give you an update on where we're going tonight. But before I do that, a while back, I had ordered through eBay an EOS R camera. So I also at the same time ordered this adapter. I already have one right here. So I can use it. I also have a Viltrox adapter. The one that's in here right now is the Canon adapter. It looks like this. I have not opened this box. I guess I could do an unboxing of this. And what happened is that whoever was selling that EOS R, and I have one already, this camera right here is my EOS R. So I could actually stream from this direction. I'm not sure if my lips are in sync, but I can go this direction, or I can go the other direction. And I used to do a live stream, and we'll talk about that from that direction. But let's cut back to camera 2. So I was going to get another camera because my Canon 5D Mark III times out. So if you follow our topic tonight, we're going to talk about live streaming, the tech, as well as the why and why nots if you're going to live stream. And we'll talk about one of those things that I've noticed as I've been building this channel. We're over 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, because it takes people just like you. Every subscriber counts. You saw that Tom Buck was in the house tonight, and I followed him for quite a while, and we've talked back and forth in comments, and he's just a great individual. He's got a great channel. But you can see every channel is a little bit different, and everybody uses a little bit different equipment. So not all cameras, right? I use Canon, other people use Sony, other people use Nikon, other people use Lumix, other people use Blackmagic Design, and there's nothing wrong with any of those devices. I can say this: if it gets the job done and it makes you look good on camera and you're able to do what you want to do, and it's got the quality that you're looking for, if you're streaming at 720p or 1080p or streaming 4K, which is available to us today. And 4K looks amazing. I remember when I got my first 4K TV. In fact, I'm doing 4K research right now. I bought a 32-inch BenQ monitor so that I would be compatible with 4K, even though my Extreme ISO, Blackmagic Design ATEM Extreme ISO, my ATEM Mini Pro by Blackmagic Design, neither one of those devices will stream 4K or even ingest 4K. So obviously lots of things would have to change if I started streaming 4K. But what a lot of people don't realize is you could buy a Web Presenter HD and you could have a EOS R 4K, and it has really good outputs. So a lot of the cameras give you better footage out of the HDMI out than it does through the inside of the camera. So if you want uncompressed or higher bit rate video, you can get that out of a lot of cameras, and even better quality 4K. So, and sometimes you're dealing with a lot of issues. And so once 4K gets to where it's not cropped and those cameras aren't as expensive as they have been, I will probably eventually get something and test out some streaming in 4K. But a Web Presenter 4K can stream 4K, and you can bring in 4K to it. So you could simply just get a Web Presenter HD and stream. So let's talk and dive into this. Thank you so much, Tony, for joining me tonight. Let's make sure chat is on the air. Say hi to you. Thank you. And again, I hope you guys enjoy tonight's conversation. So now I know people listen to this after the fact. I try to think about my my still images. Let's pop this up on the screen because I think this still image has some statements in it. So I like to do live streaming help. I help a lot of people with live streams. I know you guys aren't seeing me in this picture right now, but I just wanted to pop that up on the screen. Batman and Robin, you can read the statement there. Hopefully you guys can read that. And I just know that the challenges that I faced in live streaming are different than the challenges that you will face when you're doing a live talking head. Like you can see in that one photograph where my wife and her assistant were in their podcast. We do a video podcast. We took it remote to a doctor's office, right? A doctor of the mouth, and who does some pretty incredible things for people. We wanted to go interview him. So we took all the gear down there. We did nothing live. But as I look back at some of my photographs, I asked myself, why did I not go live? I did lots of live from my phone for almost 2.5, 3 years being a content manager for a very large RV manufacturer in the local Northwest, even in California. Now they have a store in Pennsylvania, which sprung up after I left that company. And so I did lots of live streaming. I did that with my phone and with a stand, with just this little Joby mount, and then you could put it on a tripod, or I would just screw this into the Joby into a light stand. And I did that with a Rode Lav mic, and I actually think I have that here somewhere. Where are you, Sir Lav? I thought I brought it in for tonight's live stream. I apologize. So again, the Lav mic, it's the Lav Plus, and it just plugs into a adapter that looks just like this lightning adapter I use right here. So that Lav microphone has this end on it, TRRS. Not sure I can get that anywhere near focused. And then this is the lightning adapter, so TRRS to lightning adapter. And I can plug this into my phone. Same thing I do with the Rode Lav Plus. It's not wireless, it's wired. And I did many live streams from that, and they're quality. I did them on Facebook mostly, did some on YouTube. We've used drones and went live, literally had a drone on top of a trailer, a tent trailer, just about chin height. I stood back from it. We started the podcast with the drone off, and then we said, we're going to give you a tour of the facility. We took off. The drone, I did voiceover as the drone flew over the sail, all the RVs, and then the drone came back and landed right there on that tent trailer roof where it took off, and we had it come back. And then I continued my my outro right there live at that event, all using a phone and using a Lav Plus microphone. But obviously in my studio, I'm using tools that need adapters, and the reason that I have to adapt my EOS R is because they changed the mount to the lenses. And so there's lots of things to consider if you're going to try to do live, but you don't have to have a studio like this. And so I've talked about this before. I just want to make that very clear tonight. So if you are listening and you're out there and you go, I wouldn't even know where to start. Well, then just start with your phone. Get a good microphone, get a good phone, good quality phone. Try to use the best lens on it. So, you know, some cameras have better pictures on one side than the other, almost all of them. And then set it up, get yourself a really good app, or go live directly to the apps. Like you can go live directly to YouTube, live directly to Facebook, and there's so many other places that you can go live. So if you're going to go live, just start small. I would suggest you get good lighting, or find some shade so you got some good daylight, and just make sure you have good light on your face. That gives you a better picture on your phone or your camera. And if you're going to go to a studio, then get yourself a quality webcam. I have the face cam right here. I can actually fire this up. So we're going to switch here from chat to my face cam, and I will pop that up here real quick just by turning chat on the air. Maybe not. Is it not shared full screen? There we go. So there is, and I can move this around. I had this set up for my intro video. So that's my face cam. So that little picture right there, I had so I could play that inside my still image in my intro to my live show. And I love this little camera. It's 1080p. It doesn't have a microphone, but if you have like a Rodecaster Pro or a good microphone into your laptop, you could even use your earbuds. That's why I brought them tonight. I had a guy show up in my content world, right? Found my website, found me, and they had lost their live streamer for their wedding. This was Thursday. Their wedding was on Saturday, and I get a phone call, and they need help. And so I actually hooked them up with a stand like this, and they used their phone. They used their Apple Buds. They gave it to, put it in the pocket of the minister, and they were able to record the vows live from their phones. So they had my stand. This became the audio device because, again, some buds have a microphone and have speakers. And if you put it in the pocket, that helps protect it from the wind. And so it was a quick solution. So there's lots of ways to do it inexpensively. But the bottom line is, guys, if you decide to go big, then you're going to have to make some creative decisions. And those creative decisions can get pretty deep really fast. So just this adapter alone was $100. The camera I was going to buy, the EOS R, that ended up not being available on eBay. I got an alert from eBay saying, hey, we've taken this ad down. It was after I paid for it. I've since then got all my money back. So shout out to eBay. Under like $1,200, I think it was covered by their business policy. So keep that in mind if you're ever buying anything from a business on eBay. They have like a money back guarantee if you don't ever get the item. And it was a process that took a couple weeks. So I have an adapter, but no camera. And and one of the things, if you're going to live stream, you got to streamline and go with your budget, because it really can get expensive really, really fast. Now, I've had people ask me how much money I have tied up into my studio, and I could do some basic math. Obviously, the camera I'm on right now, when I originally purchased it, I think out the door with the lens, the 24 to 105 f4 lens that came with the Canon 5D Mark IV, I think we were out the door with tax over $5,000. If I remember right, I might be off by a couple $100. When I bought my EOS R, it was a refurbished one from Canon, so I saved about $300, I think. And I've had it for a number of years now. That's what I need the adapter on, because my lenses that fit my Canon 5D Mark III and my EOS R have a different mount. Canon decided to go mirrorless and create a new RF mount, and I do not have any RF lenses, so I have to take this adapter. One side goes to inside the camera, and the other side I'm able to attach the lens, and there's no glass or anything in there. This is just the adapter. So everything in the lens, the autofocus, all of the aperture, all that stuff will work correctly. And this is the least expensive version they have. They have another one because the EOS R has one less dial. And so they have another one with a dial on it that's twice the price. And then they have one that's astronomically expensive that has ND filters that you can drop in. And simply what an ND filter is something for you to cut the light. So if you're out in the middle of the day and you're at like f1.2 or f2.8, f1.2 if you're doing a bug with a macro lens, and maybe f2.8 if you just want all the focus on the bride's eyes, then yeah, you could actually then use an ND filter to be able to get everything, the light dimmed enough so that you can use that kind of wide open aperture. And again, that's what it is. There's so much light coming in, you need to have an ND filter to cut down that light. So these adapters, I now have one for my EOS R I have already, and now I have one for a camera that I never got. So I'm still trying to decide, am I going to go ahead and pay $1,300 or $1,400 for another EOS R? Do I wait? Canon announced 2 new cameras. They're smaller sensors. And so I'm looking into those. They were announced yesterday too. I will be talking about those probably in a future live stream just a little bit, but I don't focus a lot on what cameras are being released unless it's specifically something I think will help a streamer at home. So if you're Nikon or if you're Canon or you're Sony, those are all good brands. They have lots of cameras. I've talked about the A6400 that I installed in a church on the other side of the state. We're using a Lumix here in a new venue. They already had one, a G7. We just got another G7. I've got to color match them. Used it the very first time out of the box on Sunday morning. I went there to teach them how to record a live service with an A10 Mini Pro. And so I went there and ran that A10 Mini Pro and found out they got their second camera. So I unboxed it, put it on my tripod, and we did 2 angles, and the colors were off. So I had no time to match colors. So multiple cameras, USB cameras, or these high-end cameras like I have in my studio, those are things that you have to consider if you are going to go live. So let's get back to the real question tonight. Should you or shouldn't you go live, and what's going to happen with live streaming going forward? So one of the things that I like to do, guys, is I like to follow the trends. I like to watch what streaming platforms are doing. I like to look at their algorithms, what they're adding, what they're changing. And usually if they start focusing on the ability to add something, then you know that it's growing, right? Because they have stronger analytics than I do. They have access to more information on their platforms than I do. Like, for instance, Adam Tao has created the app Mix Effect. He knows how many copies he's sold. I don't have a clue. I don't have access to those analytics. So I don't know if it even justifies the time and the energy that he puts into Mix Effects. Now, I do have had conversations with him, and it's been a very effective app, and he wants to continue to build it. And we'll see if he does more apps in the future. Now you could actually write an app for the A10 Mini Pro version 2, I think, because it's all networked together. So that could be something that someone like Adam that has that skill set, we may see an app. But what I've been noticing is that more and more social media platforms have added more and more features for live streaming. The tech is increasing. What you can do on the platforms is increasing. Not only could you do video live on YouTube, then it was added to Facebook, then it was added to so many other places. New social media platforms are showing up. New devices are showing up. The technology is getting less expensive, like the new DJI Mini 3 that we talked about. Pro 3 just came out, and it has avoidance technology. It has the ability to do things like portrait mode. There's just the increase of technology is even getting more and more available, and you can stream from that device. So if DJI adds that to their device, then my applause to them. And again, I think it's really important tonight that we do acknowledge some of these manufacturers when they hit a certain place. And so again, I want to give a shout out to Elgato. Obviously I have to turn my key off to show you this. But a shout out to Elgato for hitting 10 years. And again, the face cam is Elgato. My Stream Deck is Elgato. I have lights here that I'm using that are Elgato. And the technology that they've created, I want to applaud them because I want them to see them make it better and less expensive so more people can live stream. And I really want to talk real quickly about what I think is about to happen with live streaming. So what I noticed right before we had this worldwide pandemic, right, is that it just seemed to be there was an increase in video on the web. In fact, one stat I saw said there was a 156% increase when you use a video right length. But when you use a video over a static ad, the video has 156, this is 2019 stats, 156% more impact on the people watching it. So more click-throughs, more people are viewing it. It just does better. So that was video in 2019. That technology was something I was sharing with businesses. I said, you need to start using your smartphone to be able to produce videos and be able to understand what kind of videos and what you should be using video for. And we were just focusing on pre-recorded videos, not so much live streaming, because at that time, there was even people talking about if you do live streaming on your channel, YouTube has hurt your algorithm and you need to do uploaded videos or a balance of uploaded videos. And that is true. Those algorithms are changing all the time because more and more people are live streaming and more people have ads on their live streams. And so there's lots of money to be made. Obviously, if you want to get quick money and do a 30-second spot, YouTube's tried shorts. There's just lots of things that these platforms are trying and experimenting with to be able to figure out how we can both live stream. They can pay for all of the storage and they can have the platform and all of that. At the same time, they can get ad revenue, continue to pad their pockets, and also creators can have some supplement to be able to live stream. In fact, I got an email. It's right here. My very first email from Google. It says this: check your recent payment. We sent a payment for your AdSense account on May 23rd. If you have not seen this in 5 business days, email us. So ad revenue. So if you've been on my channel and you watched an ad that you can click through, not only do they get paid, do those advertisers get a chance to share with you products like whatever you've been seeing. I don't consume a lot of my videos on my channel, but on other channels, I get commercials from B&H. I watched a B&H video today from their channel about the Rodecaster Pro 2, and I see more and more businesses slowly getting into live streaming. And why would a business live stream? Well, we'll talk about that here in a minute. So I don't know what your take is if you live stream or you don't live stream, but I would love to hear in the chat. And if you're live with me tonight, please let me know in the comments. And I don't see a lot of people on tonight, 10 views, concurrent viewers. So I'm sure that that is TVJ. So let me put him on here. Live events have always been popular, and I agree with that. Freddie does live training since 2007. I agree with TVJ. I know that Tony has live on his channel. So live events are a whole nother story. Live streaming would be like something like I'm doing this from the studio. So it's just me talking. There is conference calls where you're streaming with people. I do consulting right here from my studio. So rather than having my confidence monitor have my program out, I will change this output to my PC and then have Zoom full screen. So I can just see who I'm talking to, or I can see me and that person. And I can also have a group on Zoom, which is one of the things that we're going to do here on the channel. So should you live stream? Well, I think if you're not live streaming and you haven't experimented with it, if you're listening in the live chat or you're watching this later, I think it's really important for you to try live streaming. Even if all you did was show a project you're doing in your backyard and you shared it on Facebook, anything you can do to practice, I really believe that we're going to see a bigger and a larger expanse of people sitting at a desk or out with a phone or in a conference room communicating with people, because what's happening is the world is getting smaller. We could have Tom here in our live stream. We could have David. We can have Tony here. We can have Freddie here from Venezuela. We could then do a Zoom call if we wanted to. I could have different guests on. So learning how to live stream and learning how to begin to use the tools is super important. And then also, I believe that training is important as well. In fact, Aaron Parecki posted recently on his social media that one of the trainings that he does was huge. I mean, he does training for things that I can't even understand outside of the live streaming world for his day job. And he had huge results. More people attended than he ever thought could happen. And so if he's getting paid for that, or the company is encouraging him to buy more tech and to train other people, it's job security, it's influence. Again, I have influence every time I deal with a client, because if I have the answers that they don't have and I'm willing to help them either for free or paid, whichever it is, like I'm volunteering for this one particular job I'm doing right now. In fact, I'll be back over there getting those 2 cameras together because, again, I've known the guy that's running the show there for many, many years. Years ago, he supported me, gave me an opportunity to speak, and I look back at those things and I appreciate it. So I had the opportunity, they're a client, to charge them for the install or do it as a donation. And again, I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just saying that your experience can give you influence, and that influence now can be a commodity. It could be an opportunity for you to help someone, to mentor them, to meet someone. I have met people here on the channel. I would not trade that for anything in the world. The flip side, when you get 2 live shows on one night, then you add a giant client like I just did, that will take me 3 days every week for 90 days. I did my first 3 days last week. Those 3 days are Thursday, Friday, Saturday right now. And tomorrow I need to go to a meeting because the owners are coming into town. So sometimes I shift my days. They have different locations that I'll be going to. Now, I won't be going there for the full 90 days, but for the first half, I will be on the ground at those locations. And you add that plus my channel, plus 2 live streams, plus family, you need to keep things in balance as well. So if you're going to live stream, you don't have to be super technical. If you're going to Zoom, it's similar to live streaming because you're live with an audience and you have someone that you can see. So it's very similar to live. You could hit record. They could broadcast that Zoom conference. There's technology now to where you can broadcast these events. So not only do you have these people that are on with you live that can communicate and talk back and forth, you have other people handling the chat. So this technology is not going away. It's just going to increase exponentially every year. So I remember when I was a young kid and my family got our first color television. Cool, huh? Batman and Robin in full color. I'm telling you, the POW and the Batmobile and the whack and the whoom and the bam was not as cool in black and white as it was in color. And so color technology took over. Now we have LED screens. We have a Rodecaster Pro that has an LED screen. I have my Apple iPad right there. I have my iPhone. So right now, let's count screens. Okay, you ready? Just in this studio alone. Screen 1. My laptop has 2 screens. It's an Asus Pro Duo. So it has about a 40% or 30% screen on the bottom and a full screen. So that's 1, 2, 3, iPad 4, my Confidence Monitor 5, my Wacom tablet where I do the chat 6, my Big Ben Q, which can divide into 4 monitors, but we'll just call it number 7. I have my Confidence Monitor right here, 8. I have a flip around screen on my EOS R, that's 9. I have this monitor, that's 10. I have my big screen TV back there, which I can control from this, and I could put my YouTube channel up there because it's a smart TV, and so I have it up there. So that's just what I'm seeing right now. And then if you look at the back of my Canon 5D Mark IV, there's an LED screen there, and in the back of my Canon 5D Mark on my 5D Mark III, there's an LED screen. And then inside some of the cameras, you have a eyepiece, which is another LED monitor. So color technology, see, I was calling my dad almost every other day asking for help. It had a 5-inch floppy drive and a 3.5 drive. It had those floppy drives. They literally were floppy. They were like semi-cardboard like, and you'd slide those in. And if you had 3.5 jacks, it was even bigger. And it was later that I got a CD drive, and then later a DVD drive. So the technology just increased. The computers got smaller and faster. And now my first PC wouldn't even be able to compete with what my iPhone can do. In fact, I say many times when I'm talking to people that 10 years ago, to find the technology that's available in the iPhone. Now think about this: the camera technology, the audio technology, the ability to stream, all the other things you can do. I have an app in here that will tell me if the light is good on my green screen. I have another app that will tell me where the sun is going to set, so I know what to set up and how much time we have, so I can scout a location and I can see how long the sun is going to be in the play. Do I need to block the sun and use my own lights, or can I get away with the shoot and pull it off before the sun goes down? I tell people now that approximately 10 grand 10 years ago it would take to buy the technology that's available in a smartphone. And the older the phone, the less value it would have. So this phone right here has 3 separate lenses on it, and it will shoot 4K, slow-mo, all kinds of things, plus all the apps that I can do with it. And it's not just a phone, because I can use it as a wireless device to be able to tether it and show you my studio with Filmic Pro, or I can use it to control Mix Effect or even the Stream Deck all remotely as I walk around a venue. So the technology is increased. So the cost of being able to stream high-end is coming down. The technology is increasing. There's always going to be another thing like a Rodecaster Pro that you could purchase or not purchase. But whatever you do, start live streaming somewhere, somehow, as soon as possible, because I believe the people that know how to do it and understand the basic pieces of a live stream are the people that are going to be able to have more influence, more ability to do things remotely or in person, because I can speak better in person with all this practice, right? It's easier actually with people in the room, because I can look at body language, I can watch what's happening, and I know if I need to ramp up my presentation or slow it down. I can tell if they're confused or not confused, but the practice makes perfect, as my parents taught me when I was younger. So live stream or not to live stream, should you or shouldn't you? I believe that everybody that possibly can these days should start live streaming. In fact, one of the conversations I'll be having this week as I go back to this client's location, I will be talking to them about their devices, and some of them I've already talked to them. So again, live streaming tech is very important. So let's go into the chat here and let's get your tactile feedback, your right now feedback. So let's see. Okay. So Tony says this, get my mouse out of the way here. It always seems to be wherever I touch it. I streamed using the Mavic Air 2 to a private YouTube stream. Video was fine. Audio was very crackly. Some research revealed the issue is with the newer iPhones. Going to try again soon with my older iPad. Yeah, and it was not my drone, Tony. It was actually the owner's son who was helping me do video production. We basically took on video production for this large company. So we're actually producing online spots for social media, and we produced some TV commercials. Had the time of my life because I knew that they were going to air, and I got a chance to see people in our community in that company come together. And when we did that, I was using the audio in my iPhone, and the drone was taking off. So all the audio was right here in my iPhone. And obviously we had decent audio because I wasn't trying to do anything but voice over when we took off. And I think his was a DJI Maverick Pro. The bigger versions is what he had before the Mavic Pros, the newer ones. So if you remember the bigger drones, I think that's what they had. And again, we had good experience with the audio, but it may have just been the type phone that I had. So good to see you, Lieutenant A.K. Allen. You said this. I really enjoy your shows, and you have been an inspiration for live streaming. I like your show. Thank you. You definitely are the reason I consider this. Well, that's awesome. I am honored. Again, influence is one of the great commodities that we have, and people are listening to us. It doesn't matter if you're in a drive-through, getting a cup of coffee. They're always going to try to strike up a conversation with you, and you don't have to wait. You can strike up a conversation with them, and you might have limited influence at a drive-through, but you do have it, and you do have their undivided attention for a few seconds. It's true in the grocery line. It's true with the waitress, and so it's true of your live. And again, the more times you're live, right, the more people you can influence, especially the people that already love and respect you. Maybe love is too strong a word for some of you. They like and respect you, and hopefully they do. They really do like you, and they respect you. They know that you are what I learned years ago, a who said of greater magnitude. What does that mean? There's just some people that we go to for advice because they know something about the subject. So they're a who said it. You know, so Tom, again, was on my live stream. Tony and I have a relationship that we've developed, and Freddie. And so as you develop these relationships, you learn what they know about, and you can then rely on that information, and they have influence. That would be the person that I might reach out to. I've even shared more personal things with some of my viewers that I've developed a relationship with. So again, influence is a commodity, and one of the ways that you can increase your influence is with live streaming. We already know that there's lots of things going on in the world today. I think the more people that can get live and be authentic, the better our world's going to be. Now, I would say there's a couple of rules. Rule number one, respect and honor the people that are on the other side of the camera. They're real humans. They have real feelings, real emotions, and your belief system or your passions are your passions, right? And they may not be theirs. So if you can just respect them, which is rule number two, always try to elevate the room. And if you do make a mistake and push someone's buttons, and you have the honor of them sharing that with you, correct it, fix it. And if they took you wrong, explain to them what your intent was and apologize to them, because obviously you didn't get your message across. And so it doesn't matter if it's Morse code, you're typing the message, and if it doesn't get through that wire or a phone, and they take you wrong, then obviously we always need to continue adjusting to that. Now, it's a lot safer to do live stream because the feedback is chat. And if you display the chat like I do, then someone could say something and it's going to be on the screen. So keep that in mind. You're going to get better chat if you do keep that kind of honor. And I've done that here on the channel. And once again, I apologize for that. I always try to apologize. I put that all on me. So that's why it's important for you to understand there's real viewers on the other side of the camera. The other thing is topic, right? If you're going to say you're going to talk about something, then talk about it. And obviously the etiquette on YouTube and some of these social media platforms is get to the point. But again, if your channel isn't like that, if your channel is more about 15 minutes of you giving people an update of what's going on, then you cut to whatever your topic is, then just establish that and keep the rhythm of that, because people do consume at restaurants because they like the burger, or they like the fries, or they like the coffee, or they like the spaghetti, or they like whatever it is. The more you live stream, the more people that are part of your viewing audience on a regular basis will consume your other videos on your channel, which really is what I would hope for my channel, is that we strike up a conversation about a new product or technology or something that I'm experimenting with in my own personal world. I try to focus on the things that have nothing to do with my regular live stream in my post show, so I can talk about the Batmobile, and I don't get a lot of views on those videos, and I don't get a lot of people on those live streams, but it gives me a platform, and I keep consistent with that platform. Then I can bring Ratso here. I can bring an item like this and talk about the camera that I ordered on eBay and it didn't happen, and the disappointment. I can talk about those things as long as it's on topic and people are continuing to be interested in that. So be aware that if you're going to live stream, people are going to start having expectations. And the other thing too is that they say thank you and they appreciate the time that you invest. And there is a lot of time. So let's talk about time. So not only are you creating an influence and you're getting back expectations, right? So if I said to you, hey, Tony, we're going to go to dinner on Friday at 4:00, then a movie after that, I bought the tickets. I'll pick you up at 1:45, an hour before, so we can go get a cup of coffee and chat, then go into the movie. If I don't show up, I'm the one that created the expectations. I'm the one that said we're going to do all that. And as their excitement for that event comes up, if it's every Tuesday at 4:00, or every post show is pretty much every Tuesday at 5:15, it's not really good to start it at 5:30 if I can help that. And I have been guilty of all those things, and I continue to try to manage people's expectations, not to try to keep them from expecting things of me, but I have to manage those expectations because I do want to put on a banquet for people that I said I was going to have a banquet for. I want the content to be good and rich, the conversation to be enlightening as well as enticing, as well as maybe challenging at times, because it makes us think, like, should I buy a Rodecaster Pro 2 or not? Which one of you tonight knows that I was wrestling with that earlier today. So, okay. Tony says, I agree 100%. It's a balancing act. And yes, it is. Time, your business, if you have another business, and you have to keep that in mind. But if you create great expectations, you're going to have to produce what those people are expecting, or ask permission to take a break and share that with them ahead of time and get them ready for you to take a break and then come back with a big fanfare when you do come back. And obviously, Tony, your channel's been going a lot longer than mine, and you have experiences that I could learn from, and I have in our conversations. So also, the modern day smartphone is more powerful than a computer system that put a man on the moon. Think about that. Yeah, that's a great point, Tony. It is more powerful than the computer system that put a man on the moon. And if you watch the Apollo 13 movie, you can see they were trying to just get the amps down to where they could fire up the systems to get them back to our planet. And it was very fascinating that we have computers now. You're going to be able to power the Rodecaster Pro from a USB-C cable. And that's pretty incredible if you think about it. Is anyone else experiencing buffering? Maybe I've had some buffering. I don't know. I apologize if we're experiencing some lag, Tony. So maybe I am lagging. I apologize, Tony, and I'm glad it's not your internet. It might be mine. Now, I have very fast internet, but it is not wired. So it is basically wireless from building to building. So it does have some challenge of losing or dropping packets, and that's a conversation for another day. Good to have you, Bob Carpenter. Regular live events are just that. They set expectations. So yeah, so I'm on every week. And because people weren't responding very well to some of the things that were happening in my live shows, people were asking about Ratso, people were asking me questions that I felt like were enough outside of the normal live show that I was seeing some of my viewing drop down, and I wanted to increase that. So I've tried to make my regular live show more about the products, stuff that apply to live streaming, tech, as well as some of the things I'm using, and then try to do some support videos that I upload to my channel, from unboxings to how-tos, and just keep building that. And my time is still very limited. If you look at my channel, I haven't uploaded a video in a while, but the videos I did upload had a lot of time invested in them, and they're deep dive training videos. I did the one on chat, I did the one on the A10 Mini Pro, and I did another one right now that's slipped my brain. So, and it looks like Tony knows Bob Carpenter. So welcome, Bob, to the live stream. It's good to have you. No buffering for me. Well, that's cool. Well, we're not serving any sides of buffering for Bob tonight. Yeah. Someone needs to rent a ditch witch. Yeah, my son actually has cable in his room next to me. So I had an opportunity to switch the cable. I did not because he wanted to use it so he could game. So he games a lot of hours. I wanted him to have fast speed. And so far, I haven't had very few issues with my live streams, but occasionally we'll have issues with the provider. And I can't do anything about that other than have a backup system. Now, when he moves out, I will use cable, and this system will be my plan B. So I'll always have a default way to stream, and I may end up with a bonding system as well. So I can obviously go over to some kind of cellular bonding system, and that technology is increasing as well, which is very exciting. So any specific question you like, 10 after, so we'll go for a little over an hour tonight, so we have plenty of time left, but I want to do some Q&A. Any questions about my cameras or how I'm live streaming, I would be happy to answer those if you haven't had them answered already. If there's a certain video you would like me to do, something you know is kind of in my cup of tea, my forte, and you feel like it's missing from my channel, I'd love to have that kind of feedback as well. I'm always looking for great video content ideas. And if you'd like to see a video when I go to one of these locations, that would be cool as well. So, Bob says, install a switch and put a hole in the wall. Yeah, that's probably in relationship. No, I'm not wireless in the house. Basically, it's, I think it's radar that goes from the mountain behind us, which is, I think, called Jump Off Joe. No, it's a different mountain. And that's where the tower is. The guy I know is a friend of mine. He runs an internet for our area. There was nothing really here. Cable wasn't available when I built this house. So I looked for a system. My parents found it. Then I signed up for it. So I received that radar signal to a receiver in my back, Unify. That comes into my network in my house. It goes through a number of Unify devices, and I'm tethered to that network with everything in my studio. So I don't use wireless in my studio. I do wirelessly tether occasionally to use my iPhone as a camera. But once it gets to that receiver, everything else in the house is networked and tethered. And again, I've invested in Unify stuff, and it's like 3 years old now, and it was not inexpensive. So I have the Unify app on my phone, and that's just one solution for networking in your home studio. Clear that. Bob says it just buffered. I'm sorry. So Shure SM7B. The question is, Bob says, what hardware do you have for your microphone? Shure and a cloud lifter. Yeah, the real trick here is not only do I have the Shure SM7B, and I added a cloud lifter not so many months ago, I've been using the Rodecaster Pro. I have now shared in my live stream tonight that I have the Rodecaster Pro version 2 on order that was announced yesterday. It's supposed to be released in like mid-June. I don't know when. I'm on a list now, prepaid from the DEV store, which is a Washington-based store, and that will be coming. So I'm using the Aphex effects in that. I get that big bottom is turned on, the Oreo exciter is turned off, and I'm running the Rodecaster Pro into the mic 1 input of my ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. So then obviously that comes into the live stream, and I have I think 5 frames of delay set. The thing I didn't share about the new version of the Rodecaster Pro version 2 is it has audio delay built into it. So we all know that audio can get to the ATEM Mini a lot faster than the video can. So being able to delay audio is super, super important. In fact, I know a venue that I had as a client that's having nothing but problems with the interface that they have. And I will probably recommend that they get a Rodecaster Pro as a second live mixing device, because they have a great console for their live venue. But for live streaming, we set up a HD Web Presenter HD, and as well as a HybridDeck Studio HD. The HybridDeck records their live stream, and the Web Presenter HD sends it out, but they have to come from their high expensive ROS console into a embedder, because there's no audio in their ROS console. It's about $5,000. It has features that even the new Constellations don't have, and some of the Constellations it does have. They both have, but it doesn't do audio. And one thing that I love about the A10 Mini Pro and the Pro and the Extreme ISO is that it has these great audio features, and even more so features in some of the newer devices that Blackmagic is coming out. So the Rodecaster Pro will be a great device for them because they'll be able to slow down the audio, get everything synced, throw away the roll-in device that they're using to embed audio, and throw away their little PreSonus 2-channel device that they're using to bring audio into their live stream, get rid of all of that and have their lips in sync. And so if you'd like to know what their lips look like right now in that venue, I would be happy to share that with you in the chat later. I'm not going to put it on the screen or mention them on the screen, but in the chat, I wouldn't have a problem telling you that because it drives me crazy. Their lips are still slightly off because they did not want to update their embedding device, and they were satisfied with what their lips were. And I can tell that there's still a tiny frame or two off, maybe a frame. I never did bring it into my Adobe Premiere to look at how far it off. But when I took on that client, they were having issues streaming through OBS. And at one point they were literally 60 frames off between video and audio. And that is as worst I have ever seen ever. So, okay. Great input, Bob. Thank you for joining our live stream. Work the problem. Yeah, Tony, one of his favorite quotes. I like to watch that movie every so often because it inspires me of what teams look like, solving problems, thinking outside of the box. And that is a great movie to illustrate that as culture, thinking outside of the box. So, TVJ, no, I have not used. He's asking me, have you used the Live View gear? I haven't. I've been kind of in touch with that product only because they had some apps. So I'm knowledgeable about it, but I'm definitely not going in depth at all. And again, I even watched your guys's your stream on talking about SRT, which again, it's great video. If anybody hasn't seen TVJ's Quick Tech Solutions, and I think it was Controlling Technologies live stream on SRT. That's a great live stream because they come from different venues, like different industries, and together the knowledge was incredible. So again, any tips that you have for me, please put it in the comments or just bring it up in the chat because again, I'm continuing to grow, continue to learn, still wrestling with Constellations by Blackmagic Design. Do I want to switch, or would I be better served by having two A10 Mini Extreme ISOs in my studio for how I use them? So we'll see. But I do have a Rodecaster Pro version 2 coming only because that's a lot about my passion and my channel, and I can use the other one with my current clients as a hands-on training device because they probably, most of them won't need the features that are in the new the new Pro version 2. So, okay. Lieutenant A.K. Allen says, how are you enjoying your HybridDeck? Well, the honest answer to that question, which is why I like to be honest, is I haven't had much time. I put a lot of time into getting ready for last week's live stream. I will say I absolutely love it. I did a quick little video on social media yesterday, spinning the knob, because I thought that was really cool, how cool the knob is. And if you guys have not seen that HybridDeck and you're only joining me in this particular live stream, let me go into Super Chat and go in, not Super Chat, but let me go into Super Source, not Super Chat. And maybe not. Let's go up here, go the old school way. For some reason, my iPad is frozen. So let me go into box 2. And I want to change that right now to input 3. Switch cameras here. And then let's go into Super Source. Always got to turn off the chat. So you can see right here, this is my new shuttle. Thank you for asking. And I do not have either HDMI. I wouldn't recommend you put it on top of your HybridDeck Mini because it's really hot right now. I only set it there to get it off my desk, so I'm going to set it back on my desk. I still have it tethered. It has the same disconnect problem that I have with my other two HybridX. And if you don't know what that is the other video on my channel. Why is this happening to me? And that video covers a disconnect problem in the HybridX. So I'll boot up my control software and my HybridX will be disconnected even though the IP address is correct. I've reached out to Blackmagic Design. I've asked everybody else to reach out to them. And so far, I haven't seen any results or any firmware updates or any impact whatsoever. So Blackmagic Design, if you're listening, please fix this bug. It's not just something I'm having. I've had a lot of people tell me in my chat that they're having that. So I love it. I love how this knob spins. I love the fact that you're gonna be able to queue with it. I'm gonna be doing some instant replay stuff with it in the weeks to come. Again, I'm spending 3 days a week, 12-hour days at a venue, working at least for a couple more, maybe 3 or 4 more weeks, month and a half, we'll see. And so it's taken a lot of my home time away from me, so I haven't had much time to play with it. But I love it. I need more inputs because I want to give this one, and I've used all the A10 Mini Extremes. 4 of them go to 2 HybridX, and so I could have a whole Extreme assigned to HybridX, I think. And I'm thinking about the 4K with the big knob because I am considering in the future doing some 4K live streaming because I really believe that's coming very soon. And I want to be able to pivot real quickly if I need to. So I plan on investing in some equipment in the times coming so that I could 4K live stream and play 4K video back. So we'll see. So again, thank you for asking the question. So far, I love it. I think it was worth the investment. Plus, spent a lot of time in HybridX here on my channel. So for me not to have one and do a video on it for this level of viewer, I think it would be a mistake for my channel. And then if I do invest in a higher end HybridX, I can do videos on that as well. And there's a very limit of videos out there on the higher end HybridX, including some of the Thunderbolt devices that you can do an alpha and key channel from. There's very, very few videos on the 4K version of that Thunderbolt device, and can't think of the name of it off of my top of my head. But if you know what it is and you have one, put it in the chat so everybody else will know the name of it, because I'm having a senior moment. 60 frames off. Wow, that is correct. So let's go back to my macros and do me and the logo, and then I'll turn chat back on the air and switch cameras to my live chat. So yeah, again, 60 frames off. What I did is I asked them to send me a link to the video. I downloaded it. I brought it into Adobe Premiere. I counted how many clicks I go right with my mouse. I also have a wheel in here that I use. It's a Shuttle Pro version 2, but I tapped over with my right arrow until the lips and the audio was in sync. And then when I got it in sync, then I could count how far it was from the beginning of the audio line to the video line and vice versa. So yeah, it was ridiculously off. So, so if I really want to check, TVJ says, if I really want to check lip sync, look up valid test gear. Okay, I will do that. So let me just capture the frame here so I can look at that later. So, okay, so TVJ also says live view gear. Oh, that was Tony. Sorry, I'll come back to that, Tony. Live view gear. Maybe I could get some test gear. One of the sale guys lives near me. Yeah, so I would love to know how it works. I've heard good stuff about their gear. And I know, I think I have a guy I know that's using it at his church. So I'm not sure if that's what they're using, but I seem to remember that way back before I had all this gear in here, we were talking about live streaming, and they were actually already pivoting their local church because they weren't able to meet So they were using gear to do a live stream on their morning meetings on Sundays. And Tony's basically commenting to TVJ that he should get that live view gear. It would make a great video for his channel, and I would definitely be in to watch that video. So live streaming, yes. Technology's increasing exponentially, right? Look at the releases we've had recently to Canon cameras, all the stuff that David talks about on his channel, David Osler, all about the Sony cameras and all those things coming out. Technology coming out in Unify. They have this new hub. I can't remember the name of it, but TVJ and Tony, you would know what that hub is. And it looked really cool. And there's technology coming in LED monitors, OLED monitors. You see new bonding technology. So live streaming, all of the technology around live streaming is increasing. And it's increasing pretty fast, even though there's been chip shortages and hard times getting things from the Orient over here to the United States, delays, even from Australia when you talk about Rode and you talk about Blackmagic Design. So, but they do have United States distribution for that. So who knows how they're rolling those things out. I haven't seen the behind the scenes, but obviously, even with all the challenge that we've faced since 2000, late 18, all the way through till today, we're still seeing technology, new drones, all of this coming out. So, and when you see DJI add live streaming to like the Mavic Mini 3, then you know that live streaming is increasing exponentially. So keep that in mind if you aren't currently live streaming. And again, I'll broaden the live stream. It doesn't mean just Facebook. It doesn't mean just YouTube. Any platform that will let you go live from your website, for viewers, live to a group of people, for training. All of that right now, I believe that we should be exploring, because many of us are probably going to be training many other people in the years to come. If that's your passion and you enjoy doing that, I'm already taking on clients, consulting on a regular basis, either through Zoom, long distance, or right here locally, like this new client that I just signed up and started with last week. And they have 4 locations, so pretty exciting stuff. And it could be a long-term proposition for me, but I don't want to stop live streaming. I don't want to stop being here, spreading the technology and giving people an opportunity to have a platform to have a discussion and learn about things. So again, make sure you check the notes tonight in my live stream video. There's great links in there. Thank you to Freddie Ponce for inviting me and sharing some of those links with me via email. And I put those in the live stream video from earlier tonight. And if there's anything in particular you'd like to have a link to, let me know tonight in the chat. So, okay. Petra over at Tech Condo does have a live view for all his live streaming. Yeah. And I watched his video where he talked about it and had the bag out, and I think it's for work. I don't know if it's his personally or not, but yeah, you could go over to Petra's site. Again, Petra has a channel called Tech Condo, and that's a great channel. She does an amazing job, and also is involved in radio and does live streaming, has a business as well as her live channel. So go check that out. The Dream Wall is the new device by Unify. So check that out. That's a complete paradigm change in some respects. So check that out. It caught I have Unify system in my house for my internet, even though I am definitely not very knowledgeable in it, just enough to be dangerous. Those of you that know more about it will know how cool that device really is. And I'm trying to get contact to, I can't even say that, so I won't try, Tony, to send me one to test and review. I just call it Unify, but I think that's the technical terminology. So one day when we are in a Zoom or something, let me know how to pronounce that, or maybe I should just look it up. TVJ, gotta run. Have a good night. Thank you for joining me, TVJ. Thanks, Keith, for the Tuesdays. It's awesome. I need to run too. I can see the time right now. I have other responsibilities here in the house, and I need to move on to get prepped for my meeting tomorrow. So thank you guys for the conversation, for allowing me to talk about live streaming. and for your technical questions, for your input, your chat. That was great. I appreciate it very much. If you like these videos, please like them and share them. And again, if there's something specifically you'd like to see me talk about in next week's live or next week's post show, please let me know. And you don't have to let me know that there's people that want to see Ratso, because I get that. And hopefully Ratso will be making an appearance here really, really soon. We'll see what kind of mood Ratso's in as we get closer to next week. So that's all I got. Thank you. And those of you listening, please subscribe. And those of you that have subscribed, thank you very much. And I appreciate you very much. And we will see you next week live. And we'll have another good conversation, I'm sure. And again, check out the links to learn more about the Rodecaster Pro in the live show. And it might be the perfect tool for you in your live stream. So thank you, Freddie, for that. Thank you, Tony, for that. And I do bid you guys good night. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful week. And as I said at the end of the live show, I'll say in the post show, do something to make someone's day beautiful. I'm Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios, and we'll see you guys in the next video. That first, and then this. Good night.